first kind of knowledge is gnosis, is mental knowledge. And what price you need to pay to acquire that knowledge. I studied for many years before I had the opportunity to be shown chemical reactions. Chemical reactions. They show you, they do some set of apparatus and show you how chemicals react to produce very strange things. So many years to arrive there. Meanwhile, that does not have an implication in my eternal destiny. But even at that, it took years. Wearing white lab coat, you are walking like a wise man. Meanwhile, all of this, your wise, coordinated work, has no impact on eternity. But that's a level of knowledge. Now, this is what many people brag with. They say they are atheists. They are using gnosis to argue in reality. And some say God does not exist. When the immortals look at them, they will pity them for two reasons. The first reason is because they are talking from a finite reality, and they are talking to an infinite reality from a finite realm. The person you are saying does not exist is already in tomorrow. Now, you will approach tomorrow and discover a new thing altogether. The person is still constant. You will be changing. Because the day your soul leaves your body, you will now discover everything you know in your brain can't cross over. That's the burden of the wise fool. He said, I don't care about God. He gathered his band and said, now my soul will rest. They now ask him, do you know the meaning of soul? Since you say the soul is your own, now soul come. His soul now left his body. His soul betrayed him. And his soul arrived at another reality. And the reality his soul came to, on the strength of the knowledge he was working with, all he had was a pit. A pit where thirst wanted to kill him. And he was looking for one drop. How did all of a sudden a man that had more than enough became a pauper in another reality? So much so that he was looking for a drop of water. Meanwhile, the being that he was arguing with is still where he is. Yesterday, you were rich. You say you will rest. Today, you are poor. You are looking for a drop of water. And this thing that looks as if it was yesterday and today are aeons apart. Because they had changed, they tweaked the reality. Those who really have knowledge. So the weakest form of knowledge is mental knowledge. Now, if you live your life from there, Paul said, you are of all men most miserable. He said, if only in this life we have hope. 1 Corinthians 15 verse 19. He said, we are of all men most miserable. So those who operate at the level of idol are miserable men. In case you are looking for who a miserable man is, he's not a man without money. He's a man without eternal knowledge. But in case you want to interact with a kind of knowledge that will not change even after you leave your body, then welcome to class. When John went to heaven, he said in Revelation 5 from verse 1, when he was carried to heaven, he said the destiny of the human race was in contention. They wanted to know the hope of humankind. And this was the time where custodians need to bring their testimony. And so Revelation chapter 5 verse 1, here was John's dialogue with two entities of Zion. He said, and I saw at the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. He says, scroll written inside and on the back, sealed with 7 seals. And the first person he saw was a strong angel. Because knowledge is not about stature. I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice. He said, who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals? He said, no man was found worthy. That's the testimony of the angel. And John said, I wept much. But suddenly, he said, one of the elders showed up and said, weep not. That thing that the angel doesn't know is a past in the higher realms of Zion. He said, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed. The question now is, why would a strong angel not know something and another spirit in heaven knows it? It is when you study the reality of those spirits that you discover two things were responsible. Number one is height. And number two is fear and reverence. These guys have 24 thrones. They don't sit on it. The Bible said they fall on their faces. They cast their crown and they say, holy is the Lord. Because of that level of honor and reverence, all the secrets of God are kept with them. And so when the psalmist was also granted access through prophetic intelligence, he now told us in Psalm 25 verse 14, he said the secret of God is with them that fear him. So when you want to gain access to spiritual knowledge, your heart must tremble at God's presence. If you think God is somebody who can be casual around, then you are not ready for the hallowed matters of the kingdom. And God himself will resist you, because he said, don't cast holy things to swine. He said they will trample it underfoot. They don't know the value. And so the extent to which you revere God is the extent to which God can commit hallowed realities to you. Sickness was not the plan of spirits. Even though the devil is wicked, what the devil wanted to do to humanity was to bring humanity to reproach, so that man will also suffer the condemnation that he suffers. If it that way, he is dealing with God, because God loves man. So as man will fall and man will be brought to judgment, God will be pained. That's what the devil wants to gain. To get God's heart broken. Deuteronomy 32 verse 9 says, the lost portion is his people. So if he makes the man rebel against God and God has to punish the man, God will be pained. It's just like killing your own son. And then the second thing the devil wants to achieve was to dethrone man, because it looked as if man was the one that took his place. Because he was the dominion in charge of the earth realm. After he fell, the earth was willed to man. In fact, the reason the first earth was destroyed was because the first lord of the earth had been judged. So that civilization can no longer exist, because every dominion rules over his territory. And if you don't destroy that territory will still carry his DNA. That's how it works. Because I'm the one preaching over this place. After 2 years, you'll be shocked that many people here will either begin to dress like me, talk like me, or the same spiritual things that happened to me will start happening to them. It's a natural thing, because the person who pretends over a territory imparts his seal over that territory. And so when the devil was destroyed, the earth had to be judged. However, things like sicknesses became byproduct, because when the devil was judged, something happened. The glory they carried was their covering. And so these demons were princes at different cadres. The cadre they have are different levels. The glory they carry are different levels, because garment in the spirit is glory. And so when God judged them and glory was withdrawn from them, those of them who were lower in rank, the layer of glory they carried was stripped off them, so they became disembodied. That's why they were called demons. Hope you know, when Adam fell, the Bible said he was naked. Glory was his covering. But the reason Adam was not disembodied was because he was a high cherub. He was a dominion. So the glory he carried was much. So even though glory was withdrawn from him, he still maintained his body. But if Adam was a lower messenger, he would have lost his body. Because when God judged the demons, something happened. Those of them who were principalities, who you call fallen angels, they lost their glory, but they kept their bodies. But those who were messengers, because they didn't have so much glory in the first place, when the glory left them, they became disembodied. So what they do is that they are looking for hosts. So what you call sickness is actually a spirit taking host in a man. So the nature of that spirit imparts that man. And they, based on their glory and their rank, that's also what defines the kind of body they occupy. If you are not of a higher glory, you can't occupy a man. That's why some spirits occupy animals. They don't have enough glory to control man. Man is a superior machine, so they can't rule man. So the spirits who don't have enough glory to possess man, they possess animals. And then those who don't have enough glory before they fell to possess animals, they possess little creatures. All the little creatures that are seemingly unseen, like viruses, like germs. That's what they possess, like flies. So what they possess is dependent on the level of glory they had before they fell. So those who didn't have so much glory, they occupy miniature creatures, like flies, like germs. And because they occupy them, when they make contact with you, their nature is transferred. So the doctor calls it a virus, because that's where his knowledge reached. Those who have understanding in life knows that it is the nature of a demon imparted through the agency of an innocent creature that is in bondage. That's why I said creation is in bondage, a bondage called the bondage of corruption. So if a mosquito, a virus touches you, it cannot but transfer the nature of that demon. And then the demons who are able to possess men, when they enter them, they oppress them at a higher level. You call it schizophrenia. The truth is that they don't know what it means. At least medical science has come to agree now. And so they have what they call idiopathic medicine. They don't know the answer to those things. So they are unknown. But we can go through the scriptures to tell you the unknown. The unknown is demon walking behind the scene, possessing creature to destroy creation. So sickness arises rather because spirits have no bodies. So they are looking for hosts. And when they look for hosts, the moment they find host, they live out their character. Part of their character is what you call sickness. So if a spirit possesses a miniature being, like a fly, a virus, a mosquito, when it touches you, it will transfer the nature of that spirit. That transference of reality is what you call a sickness. And then when it possesses a man, it can destroy that man, like the madman of Gadara. That is a technology. But the reason all of that happened is because they lost their glory.